Hey YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to compare and contrast the similarities and huge differences between autism and narcissism. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I just want to mention, and of anybody can understand because I'm really, really bad with computers. When I say hit the like button, somebody must have accidentally hit the down button. So just to let you know, please be careful and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I'm totally joking. If you don't like this, you're more than welcome to hit the down button. That's cool. I'm just glad you're here. And we can all learn from each other even when we don't necessarily agree. As an autistic person, I interact with and understand the world in which we live differently than a neurotypical person. When someone is explaining a problem that they're going through, because I don't claim to actually understand their situation, I often offer a comparable or similar situation that I've been through as a way of showing empathy for the situation that they're going through. This is often completely misunderstood as me switching the focus back onto myself. Because I suck at back and forth interaction past my social scripting, when I want to interact with someone, I often just start information dumping about a subject that I have knowledge about. One person even used to tell me, well, it's just all about Mike, isn't it? Sometimes I can annoy people, but I assure you that it's misunderstood. I have always had a huge heart for the homeless and for poor people, and I love to volunteer at food pantries and clothing banks. I can assure you I have empathy even though it may look a little bit different than a neurotypical person. I love to give people things, and I have been taken advantage of many times in my life. So I have to be very careful because I can be too trusting. When an autistic person has interest in a subject, we can often talk about it constantly, and it's known as little professor syndrome. People can wonder because autism and narcissism can look similar to the untrained eye, but I assure you that there is a world of difference between the two. Now, with that being said, every autistic person is different, and autism and narcissism can co occur. But that's probably rare to have a mix of autism and narcissism, but it can and does happen. So it can be annoying to others when I'm talking endlessly about a subject that I know about and I lack the ability to realize when I'm starting to annoy someone. Now, I am getting better at that, but I still struggle. I'm just trying to interact with them in the way that I know how. So, is this really narcissism when I talk for a long time about a subject and talk about myself and like when I interrupt others? It gets misinterpreted as me being selfish and self centered. How does this affect me? What is my view on this? Remember, I view and understand the world quite differently, and that can show up in my interactions with others. When I visit someone, I can often either stay too long just sitting there, or I get anxiety and I leave too soon, leaving them wondering if I'm rude and or just don't want to be there. I once saw a t-shirt that I really liked and oh, I wish I could find it. This t-shirt said, I came, I saw, I got anxiety, so I left. It has nothing to do with me being bored or not liking somebody, so it's misunderstood. I misunderstand people and people misunderstand me. I absolutely hate that and will never ever get used to it. My brain just works different and it's a struggle. I recently had my autism support and understanding needs raised from level 1 to level 2 by my psychologist, which was very humbling to me. but important. Let's take a look at the similarities and huge differences between narcissism and autism, shall we? Yes! One of the many differences is that autism is a neurodevelopmental condition, whereas narcissism is a personality disorder slash condition. Both can look similar to the untrained I as me, I. Narcissism is me, I, whereas autism is not. So, narcissistic personality traits include but are not limited to a grandiose sense of self importance, self absorbed, inflated sense of self worth, an over exaggerated sense of talents, overestimating intelligence and ability, need for constant admiration, entitled, lack of empathy as they use others to get what they want, wanting what others have and believing others are jealous of them and actually enjoying that. They feel superior and are very self centered and often come across as very confident. You know, my dad taught me never ever mistake somebody's confidence for them having any earthly idea, for them actually knowing what they're doing. There are a lot of people that are in the cemetery because they followed somebody just because they were confident, and both of them ended up getting hurt. So never mistake confidence for somebody actually knowing what the hell they're doing. Autism traits, on the other hand, include but are not limited to difficulties with emotional and social interactions, difficulties with give and take conversation, challenges maintaining and starting conversations past what's known as just social scripting, surface level stuff. We have challenges with understanding nonverbal communication. Um, Many of us don't like eye contact. We can misunderstand the tone of voice and body language of a person. We don't understand social cues and nonverbal communication. Knowing how to behave properly during social interactions and the sociological rules can be a challenge for us. And sometimes we seem not to be interested in others, even though we are, because sometimes we mimic traits that we like in other people. Since I haven't found my place in society quite yet, I mimic and I kind of dress day to day as what I feel like on that particular day. I love to play dress up, and I will go out in public like that. So, to sum this information up, we can ask the question, is there any overlap between autism and narcissism? Well, the differences, the huge differences, are people that are autistic have difficulty with social and emotional cues, sociological interactions, and understanding what the hell's going on and what is actually expected of us by others. Which is why when I'm in a work environment and there's a lot going on, I actually have to have in writing what my roles are because there's so much going on. It's like, okay, what do I do? Where do I start? People, on the other hand, people who are narcissistic have a hard time regulating their self esteem and require the acceptance of others to their own benefit, even though they use other people as tools to get what they want. And there again, autism and narcissism often are misunderstood because they can sometimes look similar to the untrained eye, even though they are worlds apart. So there are times that people can misunderstand autism as narcissism because we can talk endlessly about ourselves and our own special interests as it's how we show affection. We want to interact with that person, and that's the way that we know how to do it. I'll just start information dumping on somebody of something of knowledge that I like, but that they may not care about. Autism awareness, understanding, and acceptance has a very long way to go in this society. Please help me spread autism awareness, understanding, and acceptance to the world via YouTube by hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, people.